Hey, what's going on, guys? John the Video Guy here. Hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to talk about After Effects and Premiere Pro. Specifically, what are the differences between Premiere Pro and After Effects? When you're working on a project, what determines whether you work on one software or the other? Now, if you're a professional, obviously you know the difference, but I wanted to make this video just in case if you're starting out or if you're working on a very unique project where you have a lot of motion design or animation, but it's also like a video editing project. So I wanted to, sorry, the gnats, battling the gnats here today in my house. But I wanted to create this video if you're looking for some guidance between the two applications. I'm going to go over some of the strong points and weaknesses of both, and hopefully by the end of this video you have a better understanding of which one to choose for your specific project that you're looking to accomplish. And if this video doesn't answer the specific question or your specific project, feel free to hit down below in the comments section. Feel free to post a comment. I'll get back to you on your specific project if you're wondering which one to choose if this video doesn't answer your questions. So I look forward to hearing from you. Before we get started, feel free to hit that like button. It really helps my channel out. And with that, let's dive in and talk about these differences. So let's first talk about the editing or the creation in both of these applications. So when you go to create a project inside these applications and you start creating your video, you'll notice a few differences based on the timeline. So in Premiere Pro, it's very much horizontal based, where it's a timeline and you almost have an infinite amount of space to work with horizontally. Where in After Effects, you almost have the opposite, where you almost have an infinite amount of layers that you can add vertically. So it's more looking at it where After Effects you can stack a lot easier in if you have several layers to work with. And also the max resolution is different too with these projects. So, if you're working on a really large project and you need a lot of pixels, After Effects is going to be your go-to, as you can actually make a composition up to 30,000 by 30,000 pixels. Where in Premiere Pro, you're capped to around 16,000. So that's your maximum resolution in each of those applications. So in After Effects, you can almost do 3 times 12K, and in Premiere Pro, about 1.5 12K. And also when it comes to length of the timelines, in After Effects, you're capped to about 3 hours long. You can't make a composition longer than 3 hours, where in Premiere Pro, you can make a sequence as long as up to 24 hours. So if you need to make a 24-hour video for some reason, say you're on YouTube and you're making one of those long music loops, you'll definitely want to use Premiere Pro, as you can go up to 24 hours long. If your project is less than 3 hours, then you can use After Effects. But if you need something longer, Premiere Pro is definitely the application of choice. Next, let's talk about effects and transitions. So the first thing you'll notice, and probably the biggest difference I would see between Premiere Pro and After Effects, is definitely their effects. That's basically where it breaks down, where you'd want to use After Effects and Premiere Pro, one or the other over each other. So first, let's talk about masking. If your project is focused a lot on masking, you need to mask out certain objects and different things, Premiere Pro is not going to be the application for you. It has gotten better over the years, but their masking controls are pretty clunky. An example here, if you go here, I'm just going to make a new black video, for example, and throw it out on the timeline. And if you try to make a mask, you just click on it, you go over here. It's very clunky, and the controls are too scrunched together. It just doesn't make any sense. Where in After Effects, it's the masking was probably one of the first things they added to the application. It's really involved, it's really advanced, and you have a lot more workability in zooming in, zooming out of the composition, and just really refining the mask a lot better. In Premiere Pro, it's really clunky. It's not the best thing. It's probably one of the things in Premiere Pro I probably get the most frustrated with throughout the years is the masking. But on that side note, what's one cool thing about Premiere Pro is that you can motion track a lot better by using a mask. So say if you have something in Premiere Pro like a clip or something, you can draw a mask and have it follow an object. It'll automatically just detect the video clip and or keyframe the position of the mask throughout the clip. So let me show you how that works. All right, so I'm gonna make a new sequence here. I just have a woman walking. And for example, say if we need, for some reason, to mask her head, what you can do is just go to opacity, make a mask, and then what you can do is track forward, which is pretty cool. So it'll basically analyze the video clip and it'll make keyframes based on how she moves in the shot. Where in After Effects, it's a little bit more advanced. You have to set up track points and it's not as easy as Premiere Pro makes it. So, you know, as bad as masking is in Premiere Pro, this feature, however, is pretty cool. I think it's really targeted towards content creators, people that just want to mask something. They don't want to they don't want to mess with it too much. They're not really heavily involved in motion design and visual effects. So, you know, having this feature is really helpful in Premiere Pro if you just want to mask something and have it tracked across the video. So as you can see here, we have this mask and it does a pretty good job moving and following her across the screen. So that's one thing. Let's talk about color correction. So if you asked me this question about 7 years ago, I probably would have said color correcting would be better in After Effects. But Premiere Pro has come a long way in color correcting. They have a complete workflow for color correcting now. If we go back into Premiere Pro here, you can just go to the color tab and you have a whole workspace here where you can mess with color. Very similar to professional color grading, software such as DaVinci Resolve. You have access to Lumetri scopes. You have your complete controls where you can really fine tune the color of a clip. Where before, how I learned how to do color correction, if you're curious, is back in the editing pane. What you would have to do is just click on the clip, go to effects, type in curves, drop this thing on here. I think you would adjust things through here, so your highlights, lows, and to bring up your scopes, you would have to go to Window, go to Reference Monitor, and in the Reference Monitor, you would display your scopes. Now, since Premiere Pro has updated a lot since then, it's not even an option anymore to actually display scopes in the Reference Monitor. But that's how you would do it. And another effect that you would add is Fast Color Corrector, specifically for the hues and tints and saturations. So that's how I learned how to color correct. And in After Effects, honestly, the tools back then, it was probably better in After Effects to do it than in Premiere. But now with the new workflow for color correcting in Premiere Pro, definitely color correcting in Premiere Pro is a lot better than After Effects. Now transitions more so or less is better in Premiere Pro. There's a lot of built-in transitions that you can use, like wipes and crossfades, where in After Effects it's going to take longer to add transitions. So definitely use Premiere Pro for transitions. Now when it comes to animation, say if you need to keyframe from one thing to another, you know, you want something to animate in and out, definitely After Effects is better in this category. If you need to keyframe something and you need to add Easy Ease, the graph editor, you have a lot more control in After Effects to do that, where in Premiere Pro it's a lot clunky. So, you know, for example here, if I have this black video and say if we make a mask and I wanted to keyframe the position, just speed this up a little bit. This is a poor example, but like to do this, you would just select it, right click, go here, temporal interpolation, and go to Bezier. It would add Easy Ease to it. And then to adjust this, you would have to, like, look how small this is. This is ridiculous. So obviously in After Effects, you know, if you're over there, you have a whole dedicated graph editor that you can make full screen. You can really zoom in here and get the speed down for your animations. So there's a lot more advantage to working in After Effects. You have a lot more space when it comes to animation. Now let's talk about audio. Obviously, if you're doing a lot of audio work, you'll want to use Premiere Pro. In After Effects, it's not that great. Yeah, just use Premiere Pro. The only thing I will say about audio though, if you need to animate or use the samples of the audio to actually make the video move to the music, there is a lot of functionality in After Effects. You know, you've probably seen it use like the equalizer bars, you know, the different animations that you can create using audio waveforms. Definitely use that for After Effects when it comes to audio. But honestly, that's probably the only thing I'd use After Effects for when it comes to audio, is for generating keyframes for audio waveforms. Now let's talk about green screening. Honestly, I would probably use After Effects. If I really need to get a really nice green screen key, I would use After Effects' effect called Key Light. It does a really nice job. Just keyframe it out, and yeah, it does a really nice job. Where in Premiere Pro, if I did the same thing and brought this in, what you would probably want to use is Ultra Key, which isn't bad, but you have to refine it a lot more. So if we type in Ultra, drag it in, do that. So both get the job done. It's just in After Effects, you have a little bit more of an advantage. You have a lot more tools such as the spill suppression and different effects that you can even add to Key Cleaner and really get a nice clean key out of it. So next, let's talk about rendering. So when it comes down to rendering, they render out pretty much the same way. It takes the bottom layer, it renders that, it basically stacks on top of each other. It says what's on the bottom, goes to the next layer, then the layer above that, and it bakes it all together as one frame, and it works its way out just like that. So when it comes to rendering, they both use the Adobe Media Encoder where you can kick it out to, and you can render it that way. When it comes directly out of the software itself, After Effects, I have to say, is more reliable and dependable when it comes to rendering. A lot of times, if you work in Premiere Pro and you go to render, you'll run into some issues. Sometimes it'll error out, or sometimes it will have some type of error and it will stop the render. Where in After Effects, it's pretty diehard when it comes to rendering. So definitely After Effects is the ultimate renderer in this case. I think their render engine is really amazing, and no matter what I create in After Effects, it always renders out. It might take a while, but it always renders out. So that's my take on these two softwares. I hope this video has helped you. Like I said before, if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below if I didn't cover something, but that's basically the takeaway of this video. So I hope this has helped. Feel free to like and subscribe to the channel if you like these videos, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.